No baseball for the Chicago Cubs today. They got rained out. That game was rescheduled to August 6th. But I did watch Sunday Night Baseball, and the talk of the town is nothing more than Kyle Schwarber. And so today's episode is going to actually be dedicated to a Philadelphia Philly, former Chicago Cub. But more so, we're asking ourselves, man, just what was Jed Hoyer thinking? Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Hope that you guys are all having a great day. I just wanted to talk to you guys. Oh, shout out before we say anything else. Shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you guys got to be able to put something on the grill or be able to enjoy some time. No Cubs baseball to enjoy today, unfortunately, but still, I hope that you guys enjoyed yourselves, enjoyed family time. It's not easy being a dad, especially not in today's climate. So I really appreciate and respect all the fathers that are out there that are doing it on a daily basis and doing it the best that they can. So keep on going, guys. Keep on moving. Keep on doing what you have to do. Shout out to all the dads. Salute to you from right here on Chicago Cubs Central. Guys, check out this sweet hat that I got as my Father's Day gift. Chicago Cubs hat, ice cream on the inside. If you guys have not had one of these from Wrigley, you're missing out. Definitely go to Wrigley and get one. Right there, ice cream inside the baseball helmet. Can't miss it. Soft serve, some of my favorite. I love the swirl. Now, with that being said, we have talked about what the Chicago Cubs are missing, what's been going on with the team, and today we're diving into what might be the biggest single mistake of the Jed Hoyer era. Now, again, I understand that there's a lot to talk about when you talk about the mistakes and blunders Jed Hoyer has made. We have a lot to be very, very critical with him about. Not trading a prospect, not missing out on a free agent, not a bad contract, even though we are pissed about Dansby and Alex Bregman's contract so far. Nope, none of those. Jed Hoyer himself has admitted his biggest regret was letting Kyle Schwarber leave Chicago for absolutely nothing. Think about that for a second. One of the most beloved players from the 2016 World Series team, one of the greatest postseason performances and performers in Chicago Cubs history. A left-handed power bat, tailor-made for Wrigley Field. And the Cubs non-tendered him. No trade, no prospects, no nothing. And ever since then, Schwarber has become one of the most feared power hitters in all of baseball. Meanwhile, the Cubs have spent years searching for the exact player that they already had. Let's talk about how this happened, why it happened, and why the Cub fans are still feeling the effects even today. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I watched Sunday Night Baseball, and Kyle Schwarber put on a show. Now, albeit it was against the New York Mets, who the Chicago Cubs will face starting Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. But still, you look at this and you say to yourself, This we could have had this. We didn't have to let him go. He wanted to stay in Chicago. He was ingrained in the city of Chicago. He did a lot of work with the first responders and everything like that. He loved the city of Chicago. He wanted to be here. He expected to be here. Somehow, he just didn't end up being here. And when we talk about his replacement, it's really going to piss some of y'all off. So let's go back to December of 2020. The Cubs are coming off the COVID-shortened season. Schwarber had struggled offensively. He hit just 188 with 11 home runs with a 7.01 OPS in 59 games. At the time, there were questions. Was he too streaky? Was the strikeout rate too high? Was he worth his projected arbitration salary? Jed Hoyer had just taken over baseball operations from Theo Epstein. Ownership at the time was cutting payroll, and the Cubs made the shocking decision to non-tender Kyle Schwarber. Now, years later, Hoyer finally admitted what many fans already knew. He said, the obvious one I look back was non-tendering Schwarber. He continued to say, we ran out of time and patience and money. And perhaps the most painful quote of all, I feel like he should still be a Cub. That's not media speculation. That's Jed Hoyer admitting to you guys that he flubbed this one. The president of baseball operations openly saying Kyle Schwarber should still be wearing a Cubs uniform has to cut deep in places we don't want to talk about. Now, let's talk about what the Cubs missed. The frustrating part is this wasn't some unknown player. Schwarber had already shown elite power. In 2019, he blasted 38 home runs, 92 RBIs, 29 doubles, while playing 155 games for the Cubs. The Cubs knew that his power was real. The issue wasn't his power at all. It was his defense. Remember, there was no National League DH yet. Schwarber was viewed as a below-average left fielder. The Cubs essentially made a decision based on roster construction. Then 1 year later, the universal DH arrived, and the Cubs were screwed. Think about how brutal that timing is. The one thing limiting Schwarber's value disappeared almost immediately after you non-tendered him that deal. And the Cubs had already let their golden goose go. Now, remember this. Jed Hoyer, the makeup and construction of his teams is all about defense. You see it today. Look at everybody the Cubs have on their team. Who out there is actually a real offensive threat? I mean, I know there's multiple sides to the game. Alex Bregman, what is he known for? His defense. Dansby Swanson, what is he known for? His defense. Nico Horner, what is he known for? His defense. Michael Busch was the Cubs' best hitter. In my eyes, Michael Busch was the Cubs' best hitter last year. Even better than PCA, even though PCA had a 30-30 season. But outside of Michael Busch and PCA, and really Seiya Suzuki is supposed to be known for his offense too, more than half your team that you're fielding each and every day is known strictly for their defense. Nobody's known for offense. Nobody's known to be an offensive threat out there. Nobody's known to be a power hitter, somebody that you fear. Now let's look at what happened after he left. Schwarber signed with Washington, then Boston, then Philly. Since leaving the Cubs, he has become one of baseball's premier power hitters. He's become a multi-time All-Star, a home run leader contender, postseason hero, and World Series participant. And as of this week, he's once again amongst baseball's home run leaders. In fact, Schwarber just hit 3 home runs against the Mets and entered the week leading Major League Baseball with 28 home runs. He also hit another one today. Think about that. The Cubs have spent years looking for middle-of-the-order power threat. Could you imagine having to go up against him and Seiya Suzuki? I mean, it would be nasty. Schwarber has been producing exactly what the Chicago Cubs need. Not needed, as in past tense. Need, as in to this day, they still have not found anybody to replace what Kyle Schwarber brings to the Chicago Cubs. He's just not doing it for Chicago. Now, here's where it gets painful. Since Schwarber left, how many times have we heard the Chicago Cubs need more power, a left-handed slugger, better run production, a true cleanup hitter? Every single year, we tried the Kyle Tucker experiment, traded for him for 1 season. I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but Kyle Tucker, like I said, just was not the guy. I mean, it just is what it is. Every single year we hear this. Every single year the pundits talk about it. The talking heads write articles about it, tell us what we need and what the Chicago Cubs need to do, and literally we had him right here. Fans often point out that the Cubs received absolutely nothing in return. No prospects, no trade package, no compensation, no pay, just payroll savings. And while payroll flexibility matters, eventually you have to ask, was saving that money worth losing one of baseball's best power bats? Looking back now, the answer feels pretty obvious. Now, normally I don't like to do this, but for the sake of this show and for the sake of talking to you guys honestly and truthfully, which is what I try to do here on Chicago Cubs Central, let's look at the debate of Ian Happ versus Kyle Schwarber. Ian Happ has had a very good Cubs career. Let's be fair. His career numbers: 183 home runs, 577 RBIs, 246 career batting average, four-time Gold Glove Award winner. He has had left field on lockdown. He probably will win it again this year because I don't see anybody else that's out there doing in left field what he's doing. Ian Happ brings defensive value, switch hitting ability, leadership sometimes, and consistency. Okay, that's bullshit. He don't really bring no consistency. We know that. I mean, he's so streaky as a hitter. But here's the question. When the game is on the line, who do you think scares pitchers more? Kyle Schwarber or Ian Happ? I think the answer is pretty clear, guys. Every single time it's going to be Schwarber. Schwarber changed games with one swing. His power plays in October are legendary. His power plays against elite pitching are even better. His power changes an entire lineup. I guarantee you Seiya Suzuki would have almost 20 home runs if he was hitting behind somebody like Kyle Schwarber right now. He is a lineup-altering type of player. There's the difference in the two guys. One is a complimentary piece. One is a franchise at-bat every single time. And if we're being honest, the Cubs have spent years trying to find another Kyle Schwarber. Now, again, they've had a lot of great players, a lot of good guys come aboard and play on their team. And again, I don't want to shortchange any of those guys. But Kyle Schwarber is one of those at bats, one of those hitters, premier hitters that the Chicago Cubs just have not been able to replicate. So let's look at Kyle Schwarber's total production since leaving the Chicago Cubs. 219 home runs, 505 RBIs, a 234 batting average, a 870 OPS, 2 All-Star selections, a Silver Slugger, multiple NLCS appearances, a World Series appearance, a National League home run leader, finished second in NL MVP voting in 2025 after hitting 56 home runs and 132 RBIs. Can I interest you guys in that at all? Since 2021, Kyle Schwarber has hit 219 home runs to Ian Happ's just 111. That's a plus 108 home run difference. That's essentially an entire extra Kyle Schwarber career season's worth of home runs. RBIs, 505 to 387. The difference, plus 118 in the RBI category for Kyle Schwarber. OPS, 775 for Ian Happ, 870 for Kyle Schwarber. 40-plus home run seasons, Kyle Schwarber 3, Ian Happ, goose egg. Ian Happ is by far, guys, the better defender. He's Gold Gloves, he's better outfielder, he's more versatile, sure. But Kyle Schwarber is the better offensive player. And where the Chicago Cubs sorely lack is in needing help offensively. This has been a big, huge issue for this team. But for what it's worth, to be fair, not everybody agreed at the time. Some fans argued Schwarber hit 188 in 2020. His defense was poor. There was no DH. The move made sense based on the information available, right? And that's true. Hindsight is 2020. But front offices get paid to project future value. The Cubs projected wrong. Jed Hoyer has admitted it. And the Cubs fans have watched Schwarber mash home run after home run for other teams ever since. When Cubs history is written, there will be plenty of debates. Trading Yu Darvish, the 2021 sell-off, the free agents who got away. But Jed Hoyer has already told us which move bothers him and keeps him up at night the most. And that's Kyle Schwarber, the player who should still be a Cub, the player who helped end the 108-season drought, the player who embodied everything Cubs fans loved about that era. And perhaps the most painful part, the Cubs have spent years searching for a player exactly like Kyle Schwarber when they already had Kyle Schwarber in-house. But I need to know from you guys. What do you think, Cub fans? Is letting Kyle Schwarber go one of the biggest mistakes of the Jed Hoyer era? Would you rather have Kyle Schwarber or Ian Happ on this current Cubs team? Drop your thoughts in the comments section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss anything here on Chicago Cubs Central. Once again, I appreciate you guys. Until next time, Go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.